For over 14 years, one man has been fighting to prove he is Jay-Z's hidden son. 14 years of court filings, 14 years of accusations, and 14 years of silence from one of the most powerful names in music. But now, everything has changed. After more than a decade of dodging the case, Jay-Z has finally been ordered to respond in court. And what followed shocked everyone. A sudden twist no one saw coming. This isn't just a story about music, money, or fame. It's about a family secret that could rewrite hip-hop history. It all began in 2010 when a man named Rymir stepped forward with a bold claim that Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, was his biological father. Rymir's mother, Wanda, alleged she had a brief romantic relationship with Jay-Z in the early 1990s, years before he became a billionaire music mogul. She claimed that this encounter led to the birth of her son, but Jay-Z never acknowledged him. What followed was a legal battle unlike anything in the entertainment world. For more than a decade, Rymir fought through layers of red tape, legal pushback, and, as he puts it, deliberate stalling. The courts were approached multiple times, but the case always seemed to hit a wall. Whether it was because of missing paperwork, procedural delays, or the sheer influence of one of the most powerful men in music, Rymir could never get his day in court. All the while, Jay-Z stayed silent. No public denial, no acknowledgement, just silence. And with every year that passed, the story became more than just a personal fight. It turned into a David versus Goliath battle. A young man without the resources, taking on a billionaire who could afford the best lawyers money can buy. Fast forward to 2024, after years of closed doors and unanswered petitions, the case suddenly reignited. Rymir filed yet another lawsuit, this time in New Jersey federal court, accusing Jay-Z of avoiding paternity testing for over a decade. The filing wasn't just about a DNA test. It accused the rapper's legal team of using procedural loopholes to dodge accountability. Then came the breakthrough. In early 2025, a judge ordered that the case could finally move forward. For the first time in 14 years, Jay-Z would be forced to respond. The court set dates for preliminary hearings, and speculation ran wild. Would Jay-Z take the stand? Would he finally agree to a paternity test? Or would this end with a private settlement, quietly swept under the rug? But what happened next sent shockwaves through the case and left the public asking even bigger questions. To understand why this case has haunted both men for so long, you have to go back to the beginning. The year was 1992. Jay-Z was still a young hustler in Brooklyn, chasing his first big break in the music industry. According to Rymir's mother, Wanda, it was during this time that their paths crossed. A brief encounter, one she says turned romantic. Weeks later, Wanda discovered she was pregnant. She told friends she believed Jay-Z was the father, but the two drifted apart. No public acknowledgement, no financial support, nothing but a name and a memory. As Jay-Z's career skyrocketed in the mid-90s, Wanda raised Rymir on her own. There were no flashy cars or Grammy awards in their home, just a boy who grew up hearing whispers about the man who might be his father. For Rymir, the rumors weren't just gossip. They were a question that defined his identity. And when he turned 18, he decided he wasn't going to spend the rest of his life wondering. He wanted answers, even if it meant taking on one of the most powerful men in music history. With so much talk, one question keeps echoing. Why hasn't a simple DNA test ended this 14-year saga? In most cases, a court can order a paternity test. One swab, a few weeks, and the truth is sealed. But in Rymir's case, that swab never came. According to his legal filings, every attempt to get a test was blocked, not just by legal delays, but by jurisdiction loopholes. Jay-Z's lawyers argued the case didn't belong in certain courts, moving it from one legal arena to another, until deadlines expired and doors closed. Rymir claims that by the time he pushed hard enough, too much time had passed under state law for a mandatory test to be ordered, and without a court order, Jay-Z couldn't be forced to comply. Some see this as a smart legal defense, others as a way to avoid an answer altogether. But here's the thing. If you're innocent, wouldn't you take the test and end it? Or is there a reason why the results could change everything? Throughout the years, Jay-Z has kept his public comments on the matter to zero. No interviews, no social media posts, no direct acknowledgement of Rymir Satterthwaite's claims. But in court, his legal team has been crystal clear. They deny every accusation. They argue the lawsuits are meritless, built on weak evidence, and pushed by individuals seeking money, fame, or both. In one filing, they even suggested that Rymir's mother's story had changed over time, a shift that, they claim, eroded her credibility. They point to the lack of hard evidence: no photos, no documented relationship, and most importantly, no court-ordered DNA. To Jay-Z's supporters, this is proof the case is baseless, a long-running attempt to attach a name to a billionaire brand. But to others, his silence feels calculated, because the absence of words doesn't mean the absence of truth. Rymir Satterthwaite isn't alone in this fight. By his side is his godmother, Lily Coley, a woman who has become the loudest voice demanding answers from one of the most powerful men in music. For years, she's filed motions, sent letters, and fought in multiple jurisdictions, claiming the legal system has bent over backwards to protect Jay-Z. Coley says all they've ever wanted is a fair hearing, a chance for the truth to be tested in court. She accuses Jay-Z's legal team of using delays, jurisdiction loopholes, and sheer financial muscle to keep the case from ever reaching a courtroom showdown. In interviews, she's painted a picture of a David versus Goliath battle, where a young man without billions, without media connections, is up against an empire that can outlast, outspend, and outmaneuver him. Rymir himself has echoed her frustration. He says this fight isn't about money, it's about identity. It's about a 30-year-old man who still doesn't know if one of the most famous names in the world is also his father. Then, just when it seemed like the fight might finally force its way into court, everything changed. In a move that stunned those following the case, Rymir Satterthwaite withdrew his legal petition. No public explanation, no press conference, just gone. Was it exhaustion after more than a decade of dead ends? Was it legal pressure from Jay-Z's camp? Or was there something else? The timing only fueled speculation. Some whispered about backroom deals. Others suggested it was a strategic retreat, a pause before a bigger move. But one fact remained. With the petition withdrawn, the courts were no longer involved. And for Jay-Z, that meant the legal question of paternity stayed unanswered. For Rymir, it meant the world was left with a story half told. The truth, if it exists, was now buried under years of filings, closed hearings, and unanswered questions. And those who wanted that truth would have to keep searching in the shadows. In the end, this isn't just a story about one man claiming another is his father. It's about the power of silence and the cost of chasing the truth when that truth threatens an empire. For 14 years, Rymir Satterthwaite fought a battle most of the public never even knew was happening. And whether you believe his story or not, you can't deny the persistence. Jay-Z remains one of the most influential figures in music and business, untouchable in many ways. But somewhere, a young man still carries a question that money, fame, and lawyers have never been able to erase. So what happens next? Does Rymir speak again? Does Jay-Z break his silence? Or will this remain another chapter in the long, secret history of the rich and powerful? One thing is certain. Stories like this don't just disappear. If you want to see how deep these untold celebrity battles go, hit the like button so more people can hear it, subscribe for more real stories the media won't tell you, and drop your thoughts below. Do you believe Rymir's claim? Or is this just another myth in the making?